Wednesday the 2nd of May, or 3rd even. So the last cuttings, you see the bench is pretty empty with just bits and bobs left over from other plants on the bench, and that's the last of the cuttings. So these would have been taken just up, well, mid-April and ready to pot. So I'm just going to take these now up to the go to work on your day off, always nice, and pot them up into the tunnel to join their brothers and sisters up there. So early May, ideally this is spot on really, because they'll probably spend a couple of weeks in a 3-inch pot and then a couple of weeks in a 5-inch pot and in the ground. So you know, it's a pure example of a mid-April cutting timing wise, and we're not going to be messing about with monster plants and having to pot them up into massive pots to keep them nice and soft. So they're done. Just got to walk them up and down the garden now. So we're up at the garden centre on the nursery bit. We've got a tunnel that doesn't really get used. So these ones up here have been potted at the most 2 weeks, mostly a week. There's 6 trays of Challenger there, and Oakwood, Gertlers, Moonlight, a few Dianes, a few Poms, Marys, Suzanne, Dave's Choice, Blackberry, Karen, Valentine, and some Primrose Hall in various stages. The only ones I've potted up are the Moor Place that I've got from Stuart, and they're in a 1 litre pot now, and they've been stopped. You can see the shoots coming from those already, and they're probably going to a 3 litre pot and get stopped again before they make it out into the ground. Only want about a dozen, so I've got a couple of spare there. But Moor Place being a late pom and also quite a big pom, you need to get the plant sorted out early rather than try to do it at the end. Things like Gertler, you can get away with 2 stops, let them come and sort them out as they go. There's another tray there that I need to pot out with some Dianes. They always seem to take longer to root the Dianes than anything else, so I've just held them back and keep potting. Well, it's then potted. I've moved my plants, my batches that I'm growing or planting from, to the left hand side so I can sort them out. And surprisingly there was less plants there than I thought there was. So I've got my group there of Karen, Mary's, Moor Place, just about scraped together 25 Primrose Hall, some R1 and some pip just for stock at the back there, or the R1 to have a look at. I've gone through the younger plants of Valentine opposed to the older, because they'll be on a single stock, and I've done that on most things. Dave's Choice, where I've got the freshly potted ones, Blackberry, Oakwood Goldcrest, Suzanne, Moonlight, Widolm. There's a few extras there, but I want to see how they perk up. They're a bit yellow, but often is dying when you first root it. Challenger, slightly gone for the older plants on those because I want to grow it as a big plant, double stop and bury it. Go at the Twilight, and those are some plants for the plant sale. So I didn't leave many really. So glad I've got what I need, but I thought I would have had more spares. So now it's just a case of watering, maintaining these plants until they make it out into the ground. Well, it's the 17th of May, about 2 weeks before planting now. So it's time, probably for some about a week overdue time, to put up some plants into 5-inch pots. Will have been there for 2 weeks before planting. Ideally I would have done it last week, but there's just been too much going on at work, so it's had to be done this week. So we've got plants like this, fish them out, which is cut at the Twilight. You can see it's really producing the bud and throwing out the side shoots, so we'll just pop that up, pinch it out, and that's fine. Some of these have already produced that bud, and I've just pinched them out. There's no point in leaving buds in there, and they're breaking away. I tend to sort of level the plants up on the second stop, so these will be left to get longer, and I'll pinch them back at the same time. Perhaps as a plant such as that's not had the top out yet, but I'll probably do that as I pot it, so leaving them up a little bit, but then I'll do it again on the second stop further in the month, or further into June. Try to get about 3 stops on Gillam if I can, fairly hard ones, but otherwise they just bud up far early to what you want. The Challenger there really do need potting. These were earlier plants that I've tried to get as early plants, and they're nice and strong, but really time to be in a bigger pot. And again, those will be stopped probably in a week's time for the first one, so I get some strong breaks further on to really chop back. Winholm, I've got some big plants at the back there which aren't really intended to ever go in the ground for me. They're probably going to be for someone else. And I've got these younger plants here, which again they'll be going into a 5-inch pot today, and they've been in this pot for 2 weeks now, because it was 2 weeks ago that I potted these. Same for the Moonlights. They're a nice, let's pick one out, stocky plant, ideal for me. And again, I do intend to grow this on a double, so I'm not worried that they're a little bit big. You know, if you're growing them on a single, that would be perfect for planting out from this size pot, but I tend to find, or know, that it does grow better on a side shoot. Some of them are a bit slow to get going. There's some Mars and Suzanne there. Now I've got some bigger plants at the back there, and I'm likely to pot them and use those and the biggest out of here for my plants, because it does want a good double stop. And the Oakwood the same, and we have got, as Oakwood does, the odd bud appearing in there, but the plants are decent again, and they'll be going into the 5s. Rycroft Blackberry, I've got 2 batches, larger and smaller. Only had 1 tuber shooting, so I had to sort of do it that way. Again, they'll be potted, stopped where needed. The Dave's Choice are about right for me. I tend to still double stop it, but you can get away with 1. You only want about 8 shoots on it, and a plant, if I can get it out of the tray, a plant like that is more than adequate. There's some smaller ones and slightly bigger ones, but as a batch that's about right for Dave's Choice. And the same for Valentine. Just a nice small plant is fine, because we're only going to be single stopping it, but these will be going into a 5-inch pot today as well. There's some here that are from the batch before, which are those, and you see, you know, they're about a week or so apart. And if I need to use these I will, but I tend to go for the smaller ones first, because I don't really want to be chopping it around it as a giant. Primrose Hall I've got from massive to not a lot, purely because I was mother planting from the 6 plants. And the Moor Place have really motored now, and they'll be ready for their second stop on those shoots, and they'll be going into a 3 litre or more today, and pinched out again for the second time. And these will get a good 3 or 4 stops at least, hopefully 4 if I can squeeze them in. And then we've just got the Marys, again smaller and larger, but that'll be growing on a double, so I'll pop them and pinch them. And Mars and Karen there, smaller and larger. Where I struggled a little bit with low numbers of plants, and that will be done in 2 batches to get what I wanted. So we're just going to have a big potting on session. See how we get on. So I'm just potting up there. I've done the Goethe down there into 1s, the Diane. I've just come to the Challenger, and that's, you know, they're just about nicely rooted, probably a little bit too much. Nice strong plant. Can't really see the point in just trying to put that in a 1 litre pot. I don't think a plant that size is going to hold it. So we're going to go into a 2 litre pot. A whole one-handed technique again. Because I think in reality we can do this and having the potting bench in the nursery and make life a bit easier. Backfill. Always try to put the plant at the top of the pot. Don't bury them, even if they're a bit leggy. There's no point burying a plant in the pot, because all it's going to do is roots only tend to grow downwards. So that's now that Challenger into a 2.5. I do want a big plant. I'm going to stop these probably in a week's time in the pot, so I want maximum root growth and top growth to get some of these lower breaks really nice and strong. So I'm planting out a branch plant, but you know, don't have rules to say I'm only going to pot into a 1 litre. That plant is not going to suffer in a 2, so in it goes, and the rest of them will get the same. That's that job done. Just over 450 odd planted, potted, the 5s. So there's some Marson Karen there and a few R1s. That's the Challenger now in there. 2 litre pots. Dianes, Gertler, Blackberry, Moonlight, Oakwood, Suzanne, Dave's Choice, Valentine, Primrose Hall, and Mary's. The big plants in the 3 litre pots are more place. So that's that done for 2 weeks. They'll settle in, they've all been watered in. I've got space so they can grow out. I've spaced them out. I've got the room in here, so there's no point not making the most of it. And then the big day in about a couple of weeks' time, when they find their feet in the ground. That's the plot rotated. Done it last night, and the beds marked out. 5 beds, 3 rows. Put on the first lot on the first half of the base dressing, which was the fast grow and the fish blood and bone. Only done half the plot, so I've had to get some more to do the rest, and then that'll be done, ready for planting then. I'll just mark it out, rake it over, job done. So that's the remaining half done. See the difference. Just the blood, fish and bone dusted over there, and the poultry pellets. So I think we'll do some more rain tonight, let that work it in, and then I'll just rake the beds over and just lift some of the half material onto the beds just to help raise it a little bit. That's why I've fertilised it all. In 2 weeks' time, away we go.